Welcome to Work Love Wednesday, and we are on our new home, perhaps. We're going to see, trying this on YouTube, live streaming. So as you're hopping in, make sure you say hello so that you're here. And also, as we're waiting for people to get hopping in, I'd love to hear your stories. If you have anything that you want to share about our prompt from last week, which was revealed by the dolphin per se, but really it's all about finding a silver lining in times that were really tough. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. So thank you for joining me. I want to reach out and say, how are you? How are you doing during this time of wherever you are? If you want to share in the chat of where you are right now. But thank you for joining me to just have a moment of pause. And we're going to get started by doing some basic breathing, just to kind of ground ourselves, to center ourselves for this, okay? All right, so we're going to do something called wave breathing, which I think is very appropriate when we're talking about the dolphin that made an appearance last week. So for wave breathing, I'm going to ask that you bring your right hand over your heart, and your left hand's going to rest right on your belly button, right around that area, maybe a little bit below. And we're going to focus on taking a deep breath in, slowly inhaling and filling the belly up. And then the chest will follow, and then we'll hold the breath. And then when we exhale out, we'll release from the chest first, and then from the belly. So having this inhale, taking a deep breath in, inhale, fill the belly up, then the chest, feeling the chest expand, and then exhale out from the chest, and then the belly, creating this wave-like action that's happening in the body with the breath. And this is just centering, taking you inward, and allowing you to calm down and have this moment of pause. So let's go ahead and just close our eyes and take some time doing the breath. Deep inhales, slow inhales. Just feeling the rise and the fall of the chest and the abdomen in the wave-like motion. Noticing the sensations of the breath as it comes in and out of the body. Let's do two more. Good. Thank you so much. Oh, the pause just really kind of sets the stage and puts us in that right mindset as we're ready to kind of receive and reflect on revisiting what the prompt was from last week, but then also getting ready to reveal using one of the intuitive card decks. We're going to stick with the animals because I just really like the animal decks. I really think the imagery of the animals is just so powerful. They make me happy, and I need things that bring me a source of joy during this time. So let's just revisit this. This is the card from last week that actually my daughters were both here. It was a little chaotic, but it was beautiful chaos. And this is from a deck by Colette Baron-Reid, who's one of my favorite authors, and she's huge into Oracle decks. But let's just read again about this Dolphin Spirit and just remind ourselves kind of what was the message that came through last week. And so the message that came through last week was the dolphin spirit, like her earthly manifestation, is a reminder of duality, as the dolphin is both mammal and sea creature So too is Dolphin Spirit, both this and that. Two truths coexist, the story you tell and another as well. The duality of life is present when we are suffering, for there is a blessing too, in the helpers that appear. Within clouds are silver linings. When we later reflect on what happened, we can see that a situation was both this and that, and a choice led to both joy and sorrow. No relationship is either all good or all bad, and people have qualities of both light and shadow. So, and it keeps going on. These books can go into some great depth, but that was enough of a prompt for us to just think and reflect on. And I have to be honest, when this card showed up, I instantly went towards the thought process of our current circumstances, the COVID-19, a time of suffering, a time of hardship. Some of us are struggling with being stuck inside. But seeing the silver lining and seeing the blessing, and that was really easy. Seeing the people who are showing up, the helpers that are showing up. The other day, we had a friend's mother make these beautiful masks for us out of pure kindness, and deliver them and put them in our mailbox for social distancing. And that's just amazing. There's more and more people that are showing up. As I'm talking to all of you, there is a friend who is helping me get some pasta off of a food truck that's traveling around the neighborhood. So it's just these really beautiful moments and blessings during a time that we are quick to associate with a hardship, because it is. There are some trying times. As a small business owner, seeing the community of small business owners, it is a hard time, and it's scary because of the uncertainty of the future. But as I traveled through the rest of the week holding this space for this Dolphin Spirit and its message, it was interesting to me because Sunday was Easter, and my family celebrates Easter. And if you do, then happy Easter, happy belated Easter to you. But the concept of the resurrection that comes after the crucifixion, which I think no one can doubt, even if you believe or don't believe, the idea of being crucified is true suffering. The journey that is told of Jesus is this agonizing, miserable journey, true suffering and pain. And then here comes this resurrection, this new life, this rebirth, this reawakening. And this took the message that we started to hear from the dolphin, this inspiring message, just one step further of saying that in times that are hard, there is something really beautiful happening. And at the end of all of this, at the end of COVID-19, there's going to be a new way of life. When this season of life is over, it's going to be a new way of life. It won't return to the old way of life. So we know there's going to be this awakening, this change. It's inevitable. I mean, we're all growing and evolving while we're disconnected physically in this fashion. We're all being forced to be more turned inward, which is part of the reason why I brought back Work Love, because I was feeling this call to go inward and asking these questions. So with this, I started to think and reflect on some other experiences that I don't think I would have defined as times that I was suffering. But when I looked at it, I really was. I was in a lot of pain. I was very hurt by certain situations. And because of the pain that's associated with them, sometimes we're very quick to close the door on those events. And then we don't get to see the beautiful blessing that was happening in them, which most of the time is our personal growth. It's what we can learn and take away from it. So over the last week, I've had this really beautiful occurrence of revisiting moments in my life that were hard, that were challenging, that were painful, and being able to pull and revisit them now and look for the gifts. the gifts of growth, of how I can evolve and show up at my best, and find those nuggets that I needed to learn along the way that maybe I was too quick to judge or suppress out of fear. And here we are in this situation surrounded by some level of fear. There's fear that exists in some level in all of us from this uncertainty and this unknown. So here we are in a place of fear again. Here we are in a place of hardship, which is a form of suffering. But knowing that, and people are saying all the time, there's this overwhelming positive outlook that I keep seeing time and time again. And it's just so amazing. And so there is a clear silver lining in this. So why wouldn't we take what's happening here and relate it back to what's happening in the past? You know, one of the greatest things that I took away from this week as I revisited a lot of my stuff is relationship-based interactions with people. And we know when it comes to relationships, we can't control another person. So some situations play out and we can only control so much, and then it's up to the other person and how they show up as well. But there is stuff that we can learn, even though it didn't maybe play out the way that we wanted to. Breakups and friendships that end, there's something to learn from them. Friendships that have continued or withstood certain conflicts or challenges, there's something to be said from there. And so I had the ability to really, talking about these themes of looking for the silver lining, exploring when I truly was suffering in the past in events in my life, and how do I kind of take what I need to take from that and move on to be better. So that's my deep dive as a result of the dolphin that I wanted to share with you. So as you are watching this, if you had dolphin experiences or were moved even today, as I reminded you of the meaning that showed up there, please feel free to share it in the comments. You can also go to our website, and on that page, we're starting dialogues on the work love pages as well. So please, would love to hear your thoughts, because it's not all about my outcomes. And sometimes I even learn more when I hear about your outcomes. All right, so let's get to our reveal. So we're going to play with the same deck because we're just going to keep it simple and not try to shake it up too much. And plus, there's so many other beautiful cards in here. So we'll stick with Colette Baron-Reid's deck this week. So we'll see what animal inspiration we will have. Oh. The cat spirit, which I'm sure will resonate with so many people out there. It's so funny. I just got done with a vocal lesson, and my vocal teacher was apologizing because her cat kept meowing in the background. So those are little things about showing, like, this is why I love animals, because they start to show up when we start associating them with meaning. They start to present themselves in the most random places. I do not have cats because my mother and my brother and my youngest are very, very allergic. So, having them around is basically deciding not to have my family around. But cats are a powerful symbol. So let's see what the cat says. So the cat says, on the card, it says the cat spirit is claim your independence. So let's see the message here. When cat spirit meows, see, just like the vocal lesson, meowing, she is calling you to claim your independence and allowing for some space between you and others in your life. The only way you can grow in all your relationships now is to have a healthy sense of self-respect and self-worth. When you walk with dignity, knowing who you are, self-aware, and willing to grow, trusting the value you bring, the world will mirror all this back to you in kind. When you say no to codependency and enmeshment, live and let live, and practice taking risks as you wander into new territory for you, cat spirit rejoices. She is here to urge you to let your independent spirit roam free. It's kind of amazing to me that this is the card that came out, because I put together my notes for the post that I'm going to put on the website in a little bit after we did the live session. And I literally had a section on here that said, these physical government mandated boundaries have given me the space that I need to be able to look at certain relationships a bit clearer. So we're given this gift of physical boundaries and space that are allowing us to look at relationships through a different lens. And I think that's what this prompt is all about. And I could argue it's probably twofold. It's looking at relationships and acknowledging how they influence and impact your life, but also being able to identify your own insecurities and vulnerabilities, and in regards to self-worth and what that means and how that plays in all of this as well. So the cat spirit is our inspiration for this week, claiming your independence, looking at our relationships and our self-worth. And so that will be our reflection that we will revisit next week. So to close out our practice, we're going to do actually something which is centered around gratitude. So every time we come together, I want to give you a little mini Qigong practice that's healing and nurturing. And this one specifically for the week, I've been centering all of my practices I've been teaching around gratitude, because I believe when we're moving into a place of gratitude, it just puts us in just such a powerful position in so many different ways. And with everything that's happening in the world, no matter how uncertain or confusing it is, if we can be grateful and have an attitude for gratitude, it's going to put us in the right place, on the right track. So we're going to do something called the Lantern of Gratitude, is what I call it. Let me see if I can move you guys back so you can see this. I'll stand up. Move the chair. All right, so for the Lantern of Gratitude, we're going to take, once again, like what we did with wave breathing. So as you have your right hand and your left hand down, same idea, but our left hand's going to come out like this, and my top hand's going to come around like this. And it's like we're holding this invisible lantern here in front of us. And I'm going to invite you to kind of compress your hands, almost like we're going to be forming an energy ball. And I want you just to notice if you feel any sensations in between your hands. A lot of people reach out to me because they want to start feeling energy or know what it feels like. And this is one of the ways that I started to notice it and start to feel it. It's just noticing if I can feel sensations in between my hands. All right. And then we're going to slowly bring it back out again to those original positions, in front of the heart and in front of the kidney area. And we're holding this invisible lantern. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and imagine that you're holding this lantern that's filled with fireflies. It's almost a season for fireflies. And they're buzzing around this lantern. They're little lighted butts, and they're glowing very brightly. And that light represents love. And I want you to feel it burning brightly. Feel that warmth from that light filling up your heart. But I also want you to imagine that you're sending that light out into the world. And using your practice of gratitude, choose who you want to send it to. Who do you want to nurture further with this beautiful, beautiful light? Holding these fireflies in a lantern. Coming from a place of gratitude, sending somebody some extra love, energy, nourishment. Now let's slowly compress those hands back together like you're creating that energy ball. And then you're going to shift that ball around and you're going to push it right into your heart. Filling your heart up with this beautiful healing light of love. Allowing you to feel self-love, as we heard, inspired by the cat spirit today. For you to have gratitude for exactly where you are today, what you have right now in this beautiful gift of life. I want you to hold on to that warm, beautiful sensation. And drop your hands down. All right. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that little practice that I call the Lantern of Gratitude. And that's all I got for this week for Work Love Wednesday. So thank you so much for joining me for pausing, revisiting, revealing, and practicing, and hopefully providing you a little moment in your day to just kind of focus on you. So take care, and I will see you next week.